hey there friends, welcome back. Nice to hang with you again. You might have noticed we took a little bit of time off. Robin and I actually had the chance to finally go to Canada to see my family. It's been over 2 years since I'd seen them, so it was just really lovely to be able to spend some quality time with them and to see my little nieces and nephews. One of my nieces and one of my nephews I hadn't even met yet, so it was just really nice to be able to reunite with them again. And more than anything, just wanted to say thank you for your patience as we took some time off to do that. But we're back now and excited to share some new recipes with you. So today I wanted to share these handful of recipes that are just on rotation in our home regularly for the last many years. Robin and I have them all the time. And these are recipes that I feel like we make all the time because they're really simple, incredibly delicious, and also very flexible. Sometimes if we're missing one of the vegetables, we just swap it out for another vegetable. Always works out great. And we wanted to take a brief moment as well to thank our friends over at Audible for partnering with us on today's video. But we're gonna chat more about them at the end. For now, let's get started. When I'm in charge of making dinner, my go-to meal to make is usually fajitas, just because they taste so good and they're really quick to make, and they're a treat for the eyes. They're really colorful, but obviously also a treat for the taste buds. Just a little heads up that this recipe is a little bit on the spicy side, so if you're not a fan of heat, you can always decrease the amount of spices or add less of the chipotle sauce. So to get started, I like to add some oil to a large pan on high heat, and when the oil gets hot, we can add in a sliced red onion, 3 cloves of sliced garlic, and about half of a teaspoon of salt, and then just stir it to let it sweat down. While that cooks away, we're gonna slice 3 bell peppers into strips. I like using different colored bell peppers because it's more colorful. And then traditionally, fajitas are served with spiced beef or chicken, and so for this recipe, we're gonna be using some vegan chicken cutlets that are made from soy. Now returning to the pan, we can add this in all at once along with our spices, which is about 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, a teaspoon each of paprika powder and dried oregano, half of a teaspoon of chili powder, and a little bit of ground black pepper. Then we're gonna cook this for about 4 to 5 minutes or until the bell peppers soften a bit and the spices become fragrant. And feel free to add a splash or 2 of water if needed to deglaze the pan and prevent the spices from burning. Meanwhile, I usually like to also warm up some tortillas, some small little tortillas, by adding them to a skillet, letting it toast on each side for about 10 seconds or until it's lightly golden. Returning to our bell peppers, we're gonna add in 3 tablespoons of diced chipotle pepper in adobo sauce, and then just stir that in. If your local grocery store doesn't carry vegan chicken cutlets or diced chipotle, you can check out our blog post if you'd like, because we offer some ingredient substitutions there, some things that you can use instead if you prefer. You can see how quick this came together. We're already ready to assemble our fajitas. So you can just grab some of those warmed up tortillas, add some of the bell pepper mixture into the middle of it, and then add whatever toppings you'd like. I usually just lay out some salsa and some cabbage and some avocado slices. And I highly recommend serving the fajitas with some lime wedges. I actually really wouldn't skip it. I think it makes all the difference. And I feel like I could have fajitas every single night. I don't think I'd ever grow tired of it. It's just so flavorful, especially with the saucy chipotle. It is so good. This stir-fry recipe is a classic that Robin makes at least once a week, or at least a variation of it. And I feel like if it were up to him, we would have noodles for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I don't think I'd complain about it because he makes them really flavorful, he loads them up with veggies, and he makes the best, tastiest simple tofu. He honestly cooks more often than I do at home. So I thought, what better than to have him share one of his recipes with you.
Hey guys, let's start by adding 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil to a non-stick pan on high heat. And then when the oil is hot, we're going to put it in a block of firm tofu that's been cut into small cubes. Now to a different pan, we'll add half of a tablespoon of sesame oil and let it heat up on medium-high heat. We'll add 3 minced shallots, 5 cloves of minced garlic, and a small head of broccoli cut into small pieces, and then we cook this mixture for about 6 minutes. Next, we're going to get the noodles ready simply by pouring boiling water over top. I use 3 blocks here, which is about 200 grams. And make sure you check the package instructions to see how long your noodles need to get ready. And just before the noodles are fully cooked, I drain the noodles in the sink and cool them off by rinsing them under cold water. Then we add the noodles to the pot, along with 1 chopped bell pepper, a cup of cherry tomatoes, and 2 tablespoons of dark soy sauce, and 1 or 2 tablespoons of sambal oelek. Then we give everything a toss and cook until the noodles and veggies are cooked through. Now let's return to the tofu. When it's golden on all sides, we'll add 1 tablespoon of Indonesian sweetened soy sauce, known as kecap manis. Then we stir the tofu gently to coat the cubes on all sides. Make sure that you turn off the heat after a couple seconds because otherwise the sugar in the ketchup mayonnaise starts to burn. Now we're ready to serve it. Add some of the noodles and veggies to some bowls, put some of the tofu over top, and if you like, you can add some garnishes like green onions or maybe even some fried onions. Now, I make this recipe all the time and honestly, I usually just use whatever veggies I have in the fridge. So don't be afraid to go off script here and just add whatever you like. Selamat makan.
Oh, look at the bite you take, it's crazy.
I think it's no surprise by now that we love granola, and this toasted coconut and almond version is the first granola recipe I ever uploaded to the blog. And so for years, it's been my go-to granola recipe because all you need is 8 ingredients. It honestly doesn't get any simpler than this. And it offers a lot in the way of beneficial fibers that are important for our gut health. And the nuts and seeds offer up loads of powerful minerals and antioxidants. I feel like it's the perfect way to start the day. So let's make some. To a large bowl, we're gonna add 3 cups of rolled oats, and then we're gonna coarsely chop a cup's worth of raw almonds to add in, but you could also add in any other raw nut or seed that you'd prefer. We're gonna follow this up with adding half of a cup each of raw pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. And then what I feel makes this granola so delicious is adding 3/4 of a cup of unsweetened shredded coconut. Then we're gonna just toss this all together. Now to a separate small bowl, I like to add half of a cup of maple syrup, or you could use agave syrup, 1/4 of a cup of vegetable oil, or you could use melted coconut oil, and we're also gonna add a sprinkle of salt. Then we're gonna whisk this together until it's completely incorporated. It's gonna end up having this like caramel looking consistency, and when ready, we can pour this over the oats and gently mix everything until it's well coated. Then we're gonna spread this all out over a parchment-lined baking tray, just make sure it's evenly spread out. And then we're gonna pop it in a preheated oven at 250 Fahrenheit or 120 Celsius for about an hour. You're gonna wanna make sure just to check on it every 15 minutes or so to give it a stir. And then once it's lightly golden, we can take it out of the oven and let it cool completely. It is gonna continue to harden as it cools. At this point, you can add some extra optional add-ins if you'd like to, like a couple spoonfuls of chia seeds or hemp seeds or ground flax seeds just for some extra beneficial fiber and healthy fats. Or you could add some chopped up chocolate or some dried fruit for a little bit of extra sweetness. But the granola is also delicious just like this, so you don't have to add anything extra if you don't want to. When it's cooled, transfer the granola to a storage container or glass jar and your breakfast for the week is ready, or you could enjoy it as a snack. I always like to have it with some plant-based yogurt and some banana coins. I like to heat up some frozen berries together with it too, but if you've got some fresh fruit, feel free to use that instead. I feel like for a weekday breakfast that comes together in just 3 minutes, it's pretty epic. This coconut and tofu Thai red curry is one that brings back a lot of fond memories for me. I think because Robin and I met in Thailand, and so we used to have all of these like creamy coconut based curries together all the time when we first met. And I think that's how I got inspired to make this recipe years ago, and I've been making it ever since. It's super comforting and incredibly nourishing and full of just lots of bold, delicious flavors. So let's whip this one up. To a large pan on high heat, we're gonna add some oil and about 3 minced up shallots, or you could use an onion or 2 instead. And we're gonna cook this for about 5 minutes. Meanwhile, we're gonna cut up 2 or 3 medium potatoes into small little cubes. And now returning to the shallots, we're gonna add a couple of cloves of minced garlic. And once that's golden, we're gonna add the potatoes to it along with 3 tablespoons of a vegan Thai red curry paste. Then stir this for a couple of minutes so that the curry paste toasts and becomes more flavorful. So I love using curry pastes like these ones because I feel like with just a few scoops, you elevate your meal and you get this like restaurant level deliciousness. It's awesome, these curry pastes. Feel free to use like a yellow curry paste instead or a green one. For this one, I always tend to use a red one, which I think works really well. At this point, I like to add in the water, about 1 1/4 cups worth, and bring it to a boil, then reduce it to a simmer and cover it with a lid and let it simmer for about 15 minutes. And while that cooks away, now is a pretty good time to start cooking some rice if you'd like. Now returning to the pot, this is the point where you can add in any veggies that you'd like to use up. We're gonna be adding a couple of chopped up bell peppers and a small head of cut up broccoli. Plus we're gonna add a can of coconut milk, a tablespoon of soy sauce, a teaspoon of sambal ulek, and I'm adding some of this pre-seasoned tofu that we just bought at our local grocery store. But if you'd prefer to fry up some of your own tofu, we actually share how to do this on the blog post for this recipe, so check that out with the link below. And then we're just gonna cook this for about 8 to 10 minutes or until all the veggies are cooked through to your liking. Whenever you're ready, feel free to add some of that warm cooked rice into 1/2 of your bowl and then scoop a generous amount of the comforting curry alongside it. And then I highly recommend serving this with some roasted cashews on top. It gives it a lovely crunch. And then this curry, which is essentially just comfort in a bowl, is ready to enjoy and is the perfect weeknight dinner. This nourishing red lentil soup is one that I first started making when I was in university, and now I often make it when it's cold and gloomy outside. It requires very little supervision and it takes just a few minutes to prep. And then you can walk away and lunch or dinner practically makes itself. The lentils in the soup make this really protein packed, and it also offers a really pleasant, natural creaminess as well. You can always blend up the soup if you want it creamier still, but I think the texture of it is actually quite nice. So the only prep we need to do for this one is to chop up 1 onion into little bits and also 1 potato into small little cubes. Then to a large pot on high heat, we're gonna add some oil and the onion. And when the onion becomes lightly golden, we can add all of the remaining ingredients all at once. So this is gonna be 1 vegetable bouillon cube that we first crush up a little bit, a cup of rinsed dry red lentils, the chopped up potatoes, a tablespoon of paprika powder, and 2 teaspoons each of onion powder and garlic powder, along with a little sprinkle of salt and some ground black pepper, however much you think you might like, along with 2 teaspoons of balsamic vinegar, and finally, about 1 liter of water. And we're gonna give this all a stir, cover it with a lid, and let this cook for about 15 minutes or until the potatoes are cooked through. And then you're ready to serve it up into some bowls. If you wanna elevate the soup, this is optional, but you can add some caramelized onion on top of it. It's really lovely. But one thing I always make sure to serve it with is some plant-based yogurt. Coconut yogurt being my favorite. I feel like it balances out the flavors really nicely, adds to the creaminess. And to make it more filling, you can serve it with some toasted bread on the side that you can dip into the soup. And that's it, you're ready to enjoy this one. For a comprehensive breakdown of all of the recipes that we shared today, be sure to check out the links that are in the description box below. And we also have a print feature for our recipes in case that helps while you're cooking in the kitchen. And again, thank you to Audible for partnering with us on today's video. It was my eldest sister that introduced me to Audible years and years ago. And it's no exaggeration when I say that audiobooks have changed my life. I have learned so much from the audiobooks I've listened to, but I've also escaped into so many different worlds just while I'm cooking or cleaning, driving, or you know what, often I even make an excuse to go for a walk just so I can listen to my audiobooks. Right now I'm listening to The House on the Cerulean Sea. It's by TJ Klune, and it's this enchanting and sweet and magical audiobook about this guy named Linus who works for the Department of Magical Youth, and he's tasked with his top secret mission to go to this orphanage that's tucked away on a remote island. And it's a story about finding family and love in the most unusual group of misfit magical children. I really recommend it. If you'd like to listen to it yourself, you can get it for free. Just visit audible.com/pickuplimes. And while you're there, be sure to also check out the Audible Plus catalog. This is where you can go to as a member to get access to thousands of audiobooks that are just included right in your membership. Plus you get access to podcasts and guided fitness and meditation programs too that you can do from the comfort of your own home. So if you'd like to learn more, check out the link in the description box. And just wanted to again say thanks so much for hanging with us today. It's really lovely to be back. We've got loads of exciting recipes lined up for you in upcoming videos, so stay tuned for that. And thanks so much for hanging. Pick Up Lime signing off. We'll see you in the next video. You're ruining it. Oh my God.
This is my segment. Get out of my segment. Get out.
No, wait.
No. You're dismissed.
You're so mean.
Come on, Alex, let's go. If you're looking for delicious...
Smile.
You're looking very angry at the camera.
If you're looking for delicious noodles, you gotta make this one. If you're looking for quick and easy and delicious noodles, I got you covered.
No, one more.
One more?
Honestly, this is just fun for me, Alex.
Yeah, this is just torturing.
Okay, Sam, you got it.